Hello, everybody. Bear with me one second. I want to see something. Hello, hello. Okay, we can be heard. All right, perfect. So, welcome, everybody. My name is Justin Lethby. I'm your professor. And today we're going to kind of talk about some stats that are my key motivating factor for what I do, right? I have been in real estate since 2006. I have um, been a trainer since 1995. And uh, during 2008, 2009, somewhere around there, NAR came with a couple stats. And then recently in 21, they updated these stats. And one of the stats simply said that 75% of all new real estate agents fail within the first year and 87% within 5 years, right? That's a huge number. And it's been essentially the inspiration for doing what I do to help you all become stronger, better, more powerful, right? The $6 million man type of perspective. So I am always motivated by these stats because I want to make sure we withstand what's going on in our industry, within ourselves, within our companies, within however we are dealing with real estate in our world. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about why we fail and how we can overcome this. January 12th is known as Quitters Day. This was just a few weeks back, and it's the normal 2 week ish time frame where people that have resolutions stop doing them, stop going to the gym, stop dieting, stop smoking. Right? They stop doing that resolution. It's become too hard. It's become too too challenging. And we have the same challenge in real estate, right? We have, maybe it's not 12 days that we stop, as you see within a year, 75%, within 5, it's 87%. But we do have in our market, we do have in our industry, we have challenges, right? We face them all the time. So I'm going to talk to you about some of the reasons, some of the base reasons that we have in real estate on why we fail, right? Um, the biggest one is we just don't have a plan, right? We don't come out there, we do not sit there and identify the steps it's going to take to be successful. Now, most of us, many of us in real estate, we have been blessed enough to have uh, team members, brokerages, associations that have helped us identify some of those steps, but we did not plan those, right? We just got told what we're going to do, and that's what we're going to do. And that becomes a challenge. So that's definitely one of them. I'll tell you another really big challenge that a lot of us face inside of real estate is we weren't financially set up yet, right? We did not know all the things out there. So from a financial perspective, we weren't ready for that, right? In real estate, in all candor, it's one of the lowest financial thresholds to get started with an entrepreneurial job. And that's great, but it doesn't mean it's one of the lowest financial requirements to keep the business running, right? There are definitely things that happen in place to help that going through. So that's definitely another one that is out there. Um, going back in here, another major fail point for us is we haven't identified how we're going to market, how we're going to lead generate, how we are going to make this happen, right? These are some of the big factors that we have in these challengings, right? So are we sending flyers out? Are we door knocking? Are we making phone calls? Are we doing internet lead generation? What are those things that we are doing? I was literally just talking to a buddy of mine just a few minutes ago about how their company helps you build certain lead generation strategies. And you have that there. But we don't necessarily have that plan. We just think that we're going to go show homes, we're going to go list homes, and people are going to love it and they're going to do it. And sometimes that's true, but many times that is not what happens in our world. So that's the other thing. And lastly, and my biggest thing in here, always, 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 I think is one of the biggest challenge is most of us came from a 9 to 5er, right? Most of us came from a 9 to 5 job, and now we are our own bosses. So we rely on ourselves to become consistent, right? And we don't have to clock in and clock out. So the inconsistency within ourselves becomes a major challenge, right? We have to have actions and steps in place to make this happen for us in our business. So again, just to reiterate, I think these are the 4/5 biggest issues that challenge us today. Really a lack of plan, right? We don't have that in place at all. And what I mean by plan is we may have some things we're told we're going to do, but we have not emotionally and physically inherited that plan, right? We haven't done anything about that, even if we did create a plan. Two, we have not really identified or spent any real time identifying the financials that are in place in here, what it costs to be a real estate agent, as well as we have not developed any kind of marketing plan. This is the third/4th one. We have not done any marketing plan, lead generation strategies, and how we are going to build the business up. And then finally, and I think most importantly, the consistency factor in the business, right? So when we are here and we are working in the business, we have not identified formulas, rituals that will help keep us consistently doing what we should be doing day in and day out inside of that business. So those are essentially, I think, the 5 biggest struggles that we have in real estate that we need to overlook. So let's talk about how we get past that. How do we fight those? What are some strategic plans that need to be in place? Some strategic approaches, maybe, that we need to have to help keep us striving forward. What does that look like? What do we need to have to make forward? So I've got essentially 4 steps, 4 things that we need to essentially do to help moving forward. And the first and foremost is build a business plan. There are many formulas out there. I have tools. You'll see some links in the YouTube channel itself to help build some of those business plans themselves. You will see that we have the business plan itself that is there. But you want to build your business plan. And what does that business plan look like? It has to have a goal, right? How much money do I want to make? One of my favorite books is Think and Grow Rich. And Think and Grow Rich, you want to build what is known as a burning white heat of desire. And with that, it requires several sets of steps. The first step is identifying the actual number that it's going to take to hit your goal. What is it you want to do, right? What's that vision? What are you trying to accomplish? You got to know why you want to hit that goal. The other steps inside of building a business plan, that strategic desire, is that you need to know how you're going to accomplish those steps, right? How many phone calls you're going to make? How many people are you going to reach out to on a daily basis? What are those attainable goals? Now, again, down in the YouTube channel, I'll have a little link to a spreadsheet that I love to use and have people go through and do and fill out. And it's always a very good tool to have in your arsenal. So please feel free to use that one. It will help you identify your financial and the steps it takes to get in there. By the way, that business plan, and I'm going to follow back up on this when we get to step 4 here, but the business plan also is going to help you identify your affirmations, your statements, because you need to say what you're going to do on a daily basis to help move forward. So that's one of those things that you want to be very, very aware of. Next, you want to have some understanding, financial awareness. You're going to want to have some identity. Blah, blah, blah. You're going to want to have some ability and understanding of what it's going to cost to do your business, right? Now, in our world, it doesn't necessarily have to cost a lot, right? I can make phone calls for the phone I'm already paying for, but I do have to account for the fact that I got to have a a budget set out for whatever my monthly cost on my phone is. I can door knock and I can go walk around and do that. Doesn't cost me anything, but it would cost me gas to and from. I got to do showings. I got to make listing appointments. That's all going to cost me mileage and transportation and my payment on my car and my payment on my insurance and all that stuff comes into place. You're going to want to have that stuff identified because there's probably a minimum amount of money that you either need to have a buffer to last past or at least another understanding of how much you need to make on a monthly basis. I'm running into this right now this year. I actually had to change some of my packages products that I offer that I buy so I can offer you guys great packages. And I had to set that aside. And one of my friends, Carrie, she told me, she goes, "Okay, great. You know you got to make X to make this monthly payment for this particular software. What are you going to do it? Right? How many videos are you going to create? How are you going to do this? Right?" And she helped enlighten me on this. So because I know what my expenses are, I know what I got to do. I just now have to go do it. So I've identified that because I am financially aware of what my requirements in life are. And then we have to think about third, the marketing and lead generation. Again, this doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Marketing, you can always partner. Now we always have our RESPAs, our regulations, these that we've got to be cognizant of, but I can partner with other industry professionals to help alleviate some of those marketing costs, right? So I can send flyers, I can send postcards, I can do some of this stuff and make that happen. I also need to have lead generation strategies, right? If I'm going to do it online, what does that look like? How am I getting it? Am I going to do this organically or am I going to pay for those lead generation solutions? What do those steps look like? But I have to have a plan. And specifically where I think we struggle inside the market and lead generation strategies, we throw things out, but we don't track the success. And two, we probably give up on it just a little too early. If you're going to market, you need to give yourself about 12 months to see any real headway. You will always get transactions before any marketing or lead generation strategies you implement and design. But please understand, we need patience. We're going to take about 12 months to see any real momentum. So that is 3 inside of there. Now, the last one is probably, I think, the trickiest one. And it's our consistency. So we need to build consistency. I'm going to recommend 2 amazing books. One is Atomic Habits by James Clear. And then the other one is Miracle Morning. And I am now, I'm forgetting the name of that book, but the Miracle Morning is a great book. And they actually have a Miracle Morning for real estate. So you could actually just buy that one specifically. But these are 2 really amazing books. They're really, really strong. Thank you guys for attending. I appreciate your time and energy here. But I will tell you that having systematic systems in there to get started, specifically in the morning, because how we start is how we finish, is going to matter, right? So the Atomic Habits is literally it's about small habits. There's 2 things that always stuck out to me in the Atomic Habits book. One is just 1% better every day. What can we do every day to be 1% better? And if you can do that, you will exponentially grow your business by the end of the year because you got 365 days. That's a lot of percent increase inside your business. So it's amazing what you can do by just thinking about one extra thing you can do every day to make yourself that much stronger. Like I made one phone call today. Can I make 2 phone calls today? Or if I made 5 phone calls in a week, can I make 7 phone calls next week, right? What is that 1%? And I love that. The other thing about Atomic Habits that I absolutely love is about what they call micro habits and stackable habits, right? So, for instance, what do you do at night to get prepared for the morning? When I do this stuff and I work in here, one of the things that I do for those stackable habits is I will lay certain things out in the morning. Now, I do it for a couple of reasons. One is I don't want to disturb people in the morning when I'm getting ready because I get up early. Some people sleep in, but I also want to make sure that I have everything I'm ready for, right? I have taken my vitamins. I have got all my stuff ready to go. So when I get to the office, I am ready to charge. This year, for myself personally, I'm going to make sure some of those stackable habits are before I leave the office. I have certain things set up on my desk. That way, when I come in, I know what I'm working on, right? Because sometimes I fumble around and I get struggled through it. So that's that stackable habits that help get you ready to go and help make that good. Again, Atomic Habits is an amazing book. I recommend that read. Last but not least, in here is the Miracle Morning. And I love the Miracle Morning because it's literally about getting that system, that settings, getting you ready for that day. And again, how we start is how we finish. So if we start lethargic, we're going to end lethargic. If we start chaotic, we're going to end chaotic. But if we start positive, motivational, inspirational, we're going to end that way, right? We're going to feel good. We're going to be ready to start the next day. This is how you set up good days. Now, they have what's known as savers. So you have the ability to scribe, you have the ability to write your affirmations and read them. You can set your vision, you can exercise, you can read, and I always forget the last S is, but those are the savers that are out there. When you're there, they're going to help you move forward. Those value items you can step forward. Now, I want to tell you right now. Oh, the last S is silence. I always remember at the very end. Obviously, I'm not very good at that one yet, but you have in place the ability to do that. And again, remember micro habits and stackable habits. You don't have to necessarily do all one, two, three, four, five, six of those savers, but start doing some of them, right? Meditate. Envision your vision, envision that vision that you have out there for yourself. What does that look like? Exercise, that's how it works. And again, exercise could be 5 minutes, could be 10 minutes, could be 30, right? Your exercise experts, your health and fitness will tell you there's a certain amount of time, but take those steps, get better into those arenas, take steps to be more successful. If you want to scribe, which is journaling essentially, start with a sentence a day, move on to 2 to 3 sentences, do things like that. There's one thing that's called authentic journaling. It really does take place where you just kind of write a question out and you just let your brain write and you just go. And eventually what will happen is your subconscious will take over. And with that undertaking, you'll start writing stuff. And if you come back and read it the next day or that night, you're going to find out there are things that you might have in there and vision and goals that you did not realize you have. So I really do encourage that. So those are the steps, right? Get that business plan written, get that determined, get that figured out. Make sure you understand your budget. Identify those marketing and lead generation strategies and build a consistent plan. And I would recommend doing this in the morning. Make this plan start out because the way you start is the way you finish. And I want you to start off amazing. So that's what I think is necessary to keep you to be part of the 13%. And I want to make sure I get that to be part of the 15, 25, 30% of people that succeed in this business and keep going further. So I hope this was helpful to you. If you do like this, please make sure you subscribe to this channel. Also, please make sure if you're on YouTube, you hit the bell. That way you know what's going on. My goal is to do this at least once a week, but I'm going to start creating more videos and things all the time. So if you also have any questions or any things you want me to answer, put them in there, put them in the comments, email me, do what you need to do. I am here for you. To you all there, thank you for being here. I appreciate your time. We will be back again next week. And until then, have a great 2024. I see a couple of you guys around. If you're around, you have questions, you let me answer anything for you. I just put this at the end. That way I can edit the YouTube channel later and go through and do stuff. I'll give you guys a couple seconds in case you have any questions. Okay. Nobody.